Hey, so the video you're about to see is, well, the first portion, most of the video was recorded Monday. Today's Wednesday. Originally, it was going to be episode 5 of Life News, and that's why I started off saying it's episode 5 of Life News. But the first topic ended up being so long that it really just ended up just being a huge, just venting vlog, just getting everything out. And so that's what this video really is. And yeah, this portion, this beginning portion here has been recorded Wednesday, and shit went down Sunday, and then that's we started recording Monday, and then at the very end I recorded another portion yesterday, Tuesday, to add on. So yeah, just explaining all this. So yeah, honestly, I still have some more stuff that I could get into, but I think it's long enough, and if I talk about it a little more, maybe on next week's video. But yeah, next week will be how to deal with and or overcome depression part 2. Hopefully nothing else, I don't feel the need to get anything out more, and I can just do that video and get it over with. So yeah, here is this week's video. It's just me getting shit out. Yeah, so yeah. Yo, what is up? King here, and welcome to Life News, episode 5. I have not done an episode of Life News in way too fucking long. I'm sorry about that. Life just started. I don't know. Life just kept going on, and I never felt like there was a point where I could just pause and just kind of recall monthly anymore, because I always had something planned, and it's the whole thing. And then with being sick, it was a lot. But I did vlog a lot throughout these past few months as well. And so this week, I know it was supposed to be a part 2 to how to deal with and or overcome depression. Part 2 was supposed to be this week, but with altogether was something that just kind of happened yesterday. I really need to just get it all out now, so that video, the part 2, will be next week for sure. But yeah, and I know I'm not dressed up this time for Life News, but I don't feel, I'm not in the mood for it. And it's Monday, so yeah, so I got a few things to talk about, mostly one thing, which will be the first thing that I'll be talking about today, and then I'll be getting into this other thing that I kind of discovered a few days ago, and then just kind of trying to summarize the past few months and shit, which will play into a little bit in the first thing that I'll be talking about. So yeah, let's just get into it. So there was this chick. Let me just summarize first before I really delve into it. So there's this chick that I'd been talking to for a good amount of months, many months, I think. A good while, a good few months, since September or October of last year. And in summary, shit was, I got fucked over. And it all just kind of went down yesterday, Sunday. And so yeah, I got some clips to show you of my initial reaction, because I was not, every other time I've had to deal with some kind of, bullshit like this, it's sadness first and then rage, or most of the time even just a mix of the two at once. But this time I was just full fucking rage because, well, I'll get into that. So I went on my story and I got that rage out. Because as I also talked about in last week's video, I had to deal with and or overcome depression. One thing that I kind of touched upon, one thing that I talked about was, if you got any rage or sadness or anything, music is definitely a great thing to let all that out in a healthy way. And so I did. And the reason I'm also talking about this is because one thing that I touched upon, and I'll be going over a lot more on part 2, is if you have something going on, and I'm not saying I have depression right now, but whether you have depression or it's only anxiety or whatever it is, if there's something going on, it's good to talk about it. It's good for you to get it out, whether you have anybody to talk to or even just to yourself, or me to you guys, because I do YouTube. And a big thing on this channel is 100% honesty. You're always going to get honesty from me, and life isn't always all happy and shit, as I've always said before. And so if there is anything that will ever happen, you guys are going to know about it, because it's important for you to know that, life isn't just all, happy-go-lucky shit, and, I don't want anyone out there to kind of feel like they're alone, because, I'm there. I am not doing good. I am doing terribly. So, yeah, don't feel alone. This is why I'm also kind of talking about this as well. And so, yeah, here's those covers, those little things that I put up on my story on my Instagram right there. Okay, so it actually may have just cut to this. If it did, yeah, because I don't know how I'm gonna mix the video. I don't know how I'm gonna organize the video yet. So I might include those cover clips towards the end of this topic. But yeah, also, and I don't know if I already said this, I don't know how long it might end up being. But I want to get out as much of this as I can. But I might end up just making a whole vlog just about this topic. So I'll probably just include all of these clips and put that in that vlog video and then add on to it. So yeah, or this whole video for this week might just be about this topic. Let's see how long this all goes. So yeah, but assuming, because I'm aiming for this to be a life news episode, because I got a few other and a few other topics to really get into. One other topic, and then the rest is just kind of a summary of some stuff in the past few months since the last life news episode. So, yeah. So let's see how it goes. Let's see where this goes. So yeah, let's just get right into it. So this chick, we started talking September or October last year, 2021, and we actually knew each other. We've actually known each other from years ago, back in, I think, around 2016, 2017, because I remember at some point she followed me, and so we followed each other back in the day. I think, I don't remember, I think she had followed me maybe mid to late 2016. I definitely know she was around throughout 2017, but yeah. And so, yeah, we've kind of known each other since then. Which at some point it was weird. Which I know now after we had started talking and everything, what had happened. But at some point, her Instagram account back in the day, just kind of like eventually she just stopped posting, and then just disappeared. Like her account just disappeared. It was weird. I don't know. It was just it's fucking weird. So that's something I always kind of wondered about as well a little bit. But yeah, so which, and we'll get into this eventually, but because I remember a call that we had um, once we were talking and everything, where we were saying like how we both always wanted to talk to each other years ago, but we never did. I always did kind of want to text her, and apparently, after talking, she did too. But I guess we were just shyness, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so, yeah. Anyways, we've known each other actually for years, but we didn't really start talking until last year. And she'd come back to another account, and I suspected it was her. I was never entirely sure because she didn't have any pictures of herself posted. And I think she followed me again. I think 2020 or 2021. I'm not sure. Around there. She had found my account and followed me again. And so, yeah, and I would go on her story every now and then too, until eventually she posted like a self pic on her story, and I was like, wait a second, is that that one chick from years ago? Like, I recognized her. I was like, is that? So then I replied to her story, and I was like, hey, are you that one chick from years ago? And, the Countess blah, blah, blah. And she was like, yeah, that's me. And I was like, oh, yeah, I remember you. Blah, blah, blah. And, yeah, that's how we started talking. And so, at first, when we first started talking, for the first month or few weeks or so, we just really joked around and shit. It was never anything like serious, no actual like talking, just kind of joking around and shit. But then, eventually, we would actually, we actually started talking. Eventually, we actually started talking and getting to know each other. I think about a month and a few weeks after. And so, from there, after that, once we actually started getting to know each other and talking for real and everything, before then we just kind of talk whenever, which is a whatever thing. Then once we actually started talking and everything, we started pretty quickly texting every day. We would start talking every day. And so she was always like, shy, or so she would say. And obviously, I prefer talking, voice messages, or especially calls. I prefer calls. And she would always say she's too shy for calls, or at least for now. And so at some point I started sending voice messages to explain certain shit better. And again, she said she'd be a little too shy for that, but eventually I lessened her shyness, and she would start sending voice messages as well, until pretty quickly, yeah, we just started talking like that. We start just sending voice messages and talking that way every day as well. And at that point, I would also, well, I gotta get to that. And yeah, so every day, almost all day, we would text each other, and then eventually we'd call. I mean, we'll get to that. We'd get to that. We'd voice message every day and everything. I remember this one day where I was going through I was going through all of this is November. Pretty sure, yeah. I was going through all of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas music videos, every single one in order. I didn't get to all of them, almost. But yeah, I did that all morning, all day. That's what I was doing. And throughout it, I remember, sending her, sending each other voice messages and everything. And I remember telling her, when I'm up to, I'm like, yeah, I'm going through all these music videos and shit. I introduced her to that band and everything, and yeah. I remember it was a very cloudy day, but I had the move on. And actually, I had it off for the music videos because they were very party-ish, so dark would be better. Anyways, so yeah, and then at some point, eventually, she would say she's even more shy for calls, but eventually we would call. And then pretty soon after that as well, we'd start calling every day, and a few times even. Sometimes the calls would be a little shorter. They would at least be like. Eventually, it would normally be about up to 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes to an hour, and because she had a certain thing that she'd have to take care of. But then right after that, like 5 minutes later, she'd call back, and then the call would continue. So yeah, and between calls, we'd keep texting, every day, all day, and night, and so yeah, and I remember eventually, she'd even just call me up out of nowhere, which for me is a happy surprise, since it's her as well. And at this point, I started kind of making her a bigger kind of priority and everything, because I really like talking to her and everything. And yeah, so she could just call. She's the only mofo that I truly never minded at all. They just called me up out of nowhere. The only person. And no matter what I was doing, I would accept that. I don't give a fuck. I would fucking accept that. Even if I was right about to take a nap or something, and she called me, fuck the nap. That I can take it another time. I'm gonna call her. I'm on a call. I'm focusing on her, and yeah. So we'd call every day, and again we'd just talk and call every day, and so eventually we'd also so going into December. Now at first, shit was again going pretty fucking well. But it was towards more so the end of December and everything, where shit was not going well. No, I'm about to get into that. And so, I remember a call also. It's in late November. Because, yeah, on the calls we would talk about anything and everything, and fuck it. It looked like shit, but fuck it. We'd talk about anything and everything. And again, getting to know each other more and more. And, we'd play games. And, just ask each other questions and shit. And so, I remember this one night, we were asking each other questions and shit. And she asked me if I liked her. And, I was like, what do you mean? Exactly. And she was like, and I was like, and at this point, since like a few days, not almost a week or the whole week before this call, it was definitely pretty obvious that we, started liking each other, at least that I did. And, I guess she just made it seem like it. Yeah, it just seemed like we both really started liking each other. And so it was obvious at that point. And obviously I was like, yeah, maybe. Yeah. So, yeah, and then I'd ask her the same, and she would say she felt the same. And so, at this point it's definitely established, okay, we both really liking each other. And then we also talked about, like, you know, back years ago, and how, you know, I wish we would have talked back then. And we started talking then, you know, she wished the same, and that, you know, that'd have been great. And she also, I think that night, or eventually, at some point, she had told me what actually happened to her account, why she suddenly disappeared. But yeah, so yeah, I remember word for word almost everything that I said and everything. And again, that she also wishes we could have started talking earlier. And yeah, so at this point it's established we both like each other and everything. And so we keep going on, you know, talking and everything. And then, here we go. So December. Now this is, I remember it was Thursday. Christmas was Saturday. And Alex also had a cover that I was going to do, and that I was going to post for Christmas, which you can go check that out. And so, it was Thursday, and we had reached a pretty big milestone, I'd say. So we had, you know, we sexted, because, you know, it's also a long distance thing, and she was in, fucking course, Canada. We'll get into that. Fucking Canada. So, yeah. We had sexted, and you know, that was great. Of course, obviously, as always. So that was a kind of a big milestone, I would say. And then, so from there on in, it was definitely a friends with benefits thing. But there was obviously more emotion to it as well, or at least that I thought, because I felt it at least. And yeah, so that was Thursday, and then I remember Friday, Friday morning. Now by this point, and since a month and a few weeks or so, I'd already started, like, again, once we were talking every day and everything. Eventually, the first thing I would fucking do, the first thing I'd do, even before I even got out of bed, was text her. I would fucking text her. And, yeah, and her sleep schedule was all over the place. You know, so she didn't sleep that night, or she was still awake, or she was awake at that time, or she might have been sleeping by the time I texted her. Either way. And at some point, she'd try to somewhat make an effort, it seemed, to be up around when I'd be awake, and I'd text her just to say, you know, morning and all that, and then she'd, you know, take a nap. But yeah. And so I would be texting her every morning before I'd get out of bed, even, and everything. It was the first thing I'd do. And so, yeah, and so that morning, yeah, she was ready to go. she really was really up for going at it again, with, you know, fuck yeah. So, that was great. And, you know, not complaining at all, of course. But, yeah, so that morning, that was great. Yeah, and so, but then, after that morning, after that that's when shit really started going kind of off. So, after that morning, and especially Saturday on Christmas, she would start responding less and slowly with time. She would start responding less and less. And so, you know, so after that morning, at some point, she took really long to read and respond to something. And then, same thing with Saturday. And, I kind of, I guess I was like, okay. But, I kind of got it, it was Christmas, and on Friday was Christmas Eve. So I was like, it was just probably busy and everything. So it's more understandable. Right? And then Sunday came, and same thing. Monday, same thing. And that's just that's just how it kept going. Yeah, that's how it kept going for that whole thing, and it obviously was weird. But I try not to think too much of it. And so, and when I say take her long to respond, and usually it was like back and forth, like immediate. I'm talking it would be 6 to 8 hours in between every single text. Like that's what the fuck, if not longer. The longest that it had gone, at some point it had gone up to a whole full 24 hours of her not reading or responding at all. And eventually even 2 whole days, if not almost 2 entire days. So we're getting to that point. And so that throughout that next week is just going like that. And of course, I feel the way that I feel, and I miss her. I'm missing her a lot and everything. Throughout all that, and eventually I'm just like, okay, what the fuck, right? Like, what the fuck is going on? And so eventually I text her and I confront her about it. And still, obviously, I'd have to wait a pretty long time for her to read it and respond. So I'd be like, hey, why are you suddenly taking so long to respond? What the fuck, right? And she'd be like, a lot of her answers, each answer would almost be somewhat different, but eventually she kind of stuck with the one answer that, she doesn't know. She'd just say, I don't know. I'd be like, why are you suddenly like seemingly not wanting to talk to me anymore? And she'd be like, I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I'm suddenly doing this. I don't know. And I was like, okay, it's obviously weird, kind of suspicious, but just it's weird. And I'd have to confront her about it more and more, and just try to see if I could actually get some kind of an answer. And she'd be like, either she's been really busy, or she doesn't know. And then eventually I just at this point a lot of anxiety and worrying, and so last 2-3 weeks of December were definitely very anxiety riddled. A lot of anxiety for me, but yeah, and I tried to keep some kind of positivity, especially on New Year's, so I can have a great year. And yeah, so, and eventually, because by then, leading up to even before the days before Christmas and shit, I had started also just falling in love with her. Yeah. I started feeling that deep sort of emotion, and so then, when this was going on, I said, fuck it, and I said it. And I went into more of, how it's making me feel that she's suddenly, like, seemingly drifting away from me. And I had also told her, like, you're not drifting away from me, right? You're not slowly, like, talking to me less and less and less until you're just not talking to me, are you? And she'd be like, no. You know, I always told her, you know, if you ever just don't want to talk to me anymore, just say it. Just be honest, just say it. Which, by the way, they never will. Even if you tell them, hey, be honest, you know, I don't, you know, even if it hurts, I prefer to be, you know, told straight up, okay, yeah, I don't want to talk to you anymore, I'm not interested anymore, than just being fucking lied to and bullshitted. But she'd say, you know, yeah, I'd let you know if I ever don't want to talk to you anymore. Right? It's kind of weird because I would also expect that, but that's never going to happen. But no. And, but yeah, and so, but that's what it seemed like, right? She was just slowly drifting away. And, you know, then I finally said it and admitted it. And she never, you know, said it back, but she, you know, I would ask, and she'd say that, yeah, you know, that she's also, you know, been falling in love with me, and that she feels the same way. It's just, God, it was such a complicated thing. It was all super very fucking complicated, and, you know, and she would say that she's not ready for, you know, a relationship, and that she needs some time, which, as did I, that would be great for me, and I would tell her, because, you know, I had my own things that I had to figure out regarding relationships and everything. You know, I told her, yeah, you can take it slow and see where this goes. You know, hopefully, you know, this could become a thing. And she was like, yeah, you know, and taking it slow, and, you know, keeping things where, you know, keeping things going as they are, and just seeing how and where everything goes. And she just was so all over the place too. Cause she'd say that, and then there's one time, you know, she'd be like, you know, why don't we just stay friends? You know, why can't we just be just friends? And I was like, fuck no, what the fuck no, right? I would rather, cause you know, and I told her I would rather just not be around than stay and pretend like nothing's happened, like I don't feel this way, and like you don't feel the same. At least she would say she did. And so, you know, that was no. And so then eventually, yeah, it would just kind of be more of that, and like, she needs time and everything. I was like, yeah, of course. And so then coming into January, and the first few weeks are still very much anxiety riddled for me. Definitely still really nervous and anxiety, but I would try to keep positivity as much as possible. And I would have some days when I'm just really happy, not really feeling much anxiety at all. But most of the time it's something that I kind of would have to deal with, because again, you know, her taking so long to respond, and not even knowing what she may say. You know, I was scared that, you know, she might say something, I'd just be like, what the fuck, right? But then eventually, in January, I remember, she eventually started talking somewhat a lot more than we were, and almost kind of every day for a few days. At this point, it would just become a randomized. We would talk, you know, at least somewhat a lot more than we had been. Not as much as we were really truly talking every day. That's what I wanted, but at least somewhat more. And it would become a little bit more and more by little by little as the months went on up until now. And yeah, and calls though. Calls became a lot more rare. Like she'd say, yeah, let's call this day, and then that day would come, and then I guess she forgot or some shit, right? And we keep planning it, but it keep not happening, and I'd just keep going for weeks, and at some point we would call, but it would barely last, and yeah, and you know, throughout December and even before December, Actually, I remember because I had predictions. I had a lot of predictions and suspicions. I remember even before December, before I really truly started falling in love with her. But when I kind of felt like that might be a thing, when I was really liking her, I remember somewhere, I just told myself I don't know where, like, don't don't fall in love with her, do not. But I didn't listen. I just thought, you know, I was being paranoid. I wasn't. So, fuck, I should have listened to my fucking predictions, because I never do. Um, and so throughout December, I would also, again, shit was really weird, kind of sketchy. And I had predicted, like, just, get out, ditch her and shit, right? But I wouldn't listen. I thought, again, I was just, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I'd be wrong. I was just being paranoid. I wasn't. Um, but yeah. And so, it'd be the same thing all throughout throughout this year, up until now, still talking, but she still barely responds. Not as much as, the end of December. We were still decently talking, I guess, somewhat. And again, at this point, I definitely, our feelings are established, or at least mine. And I'd miss her. I'd always miss talking to her, and I was always ready to fucking, the moment I'd see her respond, fucking text right back and everything, right? I was excited to talk to her. And, up until now, and so a few days ago, take this back to, everything really went down yesterday, Sunday, and today's Monday. And so, a few days ago, I think this was, Friday. So Friday I was just, just watching TV, and, I just suddenly, while I was just watching, TV, I suddenly just came up with these lines, these kind of lyrics. They were really fucking good, because at the same time I was also thinking of her and everything, and again feeling this deep emotions, and I came up with these lines, and I was like, that's really fucking good. And so I decided to type them down and complete them, what can go with it. And so I came up with a good few lines of, not a poem per se, kind of, I guess all lyrics are poems before they're sang, I guess, I don't know. But yeah, a little poem lyric thingy. And I really liked it. It is really good. And it almost perfectly summarizes how I feel for her, how I felt for her and everything. What I felt and everything. Almost perfectly. And so, a few hours later, and I was like, fuck it. And I sent it to her, also knowing that she probably wouldn't respond until the next day. So I sent her them, and then Saturday, she eventually finally responds. And at first she just says, like, hey, and, I kind of got to get her to kind of acknowledge it, see what she thinks. I was like, so, what do you think? What was your first reaction to that? And she's just like, I like it. I like it, lol. And I was like, alright, good, I'm glad. But at the same time, if you feel the same kind of deep emotion for someone, I feel like there would be more to say, right? You have more to say than that, right? Or maybe even, love it, right? And so I was like, do you maybe love it, Which, it's okay if, if you like it, that's also good, I suppose, of course. I suppose. And, she'd be like, I like it, lol. And I was like, alright, well, that's good. And of course, just to remind, because I always don't want people to just, say positive even if they don't mean it. So it's like, but if you ever don't, you don't really like it, or, you don't feel anything from it, you can just say that, it's fine, it's okay. And she was like, yeah, I liked it. And I was like, alright, great. A little weird, though, right? To me, at least. which again I would end up being right. That's why we're talking about this. And so then that day I also I had some, and I took some little teasing pics for her, just for her, which you know, no big surprise. All right, we all do it, whether you admit it or not. All right, we all fucking do that. All right, for the person we like, or you know, your friends with benefits or whatever. You know, that's a thing. And again, we never got officially together. It was just so complicated, and it was just more so a presumed thing. And so I sent her those, and you know, also knowing in the past that, you know, she's really loved that, she's really liked, you know, everything. Let's just say that. And even the week before, I had sent her a picture that I actually taken. Was originally gonna, you know, kind of gift her for Christmas, but I never got the chance to, and so I sent her that, and she was, you know, she loved it. She really liked it. So I was really confident with sending more now, because I felt like we were finally easing into doing some, you know, shit more. And so it takes a while to read and respond again, and when she finally does, she responds to something I had texted before I sent the pics. And so she wasn't really acknowledging them. And so I had to get her to kind of, you know, acknowledge them. I was like, so, you know, like... And then I got a little, you know, annoying. Not annoying, but like silly annoying. I was like, bitch, I ain't gonna let you ignore them pics, biatch. Right? So... yeah. And then she finally responds to them, you know, acknowledges them. And her response is just... they're cool. That's it. They're cool. And I was like, what the fuck, right? And so I right away, you know, I responded with, that's it. And again, like, I respond almost right away. That's the thing. Even if again, she'd take hours, right? She would take. Now it'd be a little less at this point, but still, you know, an hour or two, or maybe 3, or just 20 minutes, you know, yeah. But I would also know, you know, that I texted you, right? And so, you know, 6 to 10 minutes or so went by. I was like, okay, fuck you too then, right? And that she quickly, you know, read, and she just never responded to that. Now again, in the past, she would make, throughout this year, she would make a lot of weird kind of, a little bit fucked up kind of, you know, jokes. She'd say, you know, she'd say certain shit. I was like, you know, what the fuck? And she'd be like, I'm just kidding, you know, I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. I was like, alright. But every single time, you know, she'd just say she was kidding. Or whatever, right? To the point where I'm not even sure. You know, I wasn't even sure. It was starting to be meaningless. You know, her being, I'm sorry, no, I'm kidding, but at least that's something, right? I guess. And so I was expecting that kind of, but she never responded. And I was like, okay. And so on to yesterday, and yesterday was, it was great. I mean, it was, at first, it was normal. It was in my normal Sunday, straightened my hair, took some pics for Insta, and I was just chilling. Again, she hadn't texted at all or anything, and so I decided to, you know, go to her Insta, go on her profile, just cause, I don't know. And, just take a sip of water here. And so I go to her profile, and keep in mind, this entire fucking time, the whole thing has been that, you know, she especially is definitely not, you know, ready for a relationship or anything, that she really needs time and all of that, and that, you know, very possibly eventually we'd become a thing. On her bio, it suddenly seems like she's now fucking dating some bitch boy And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm completely confused and everything. And so I text her immediately. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? To which, at some point soon after, she just responds no. And then I just completely fucking go off on her. Because, yeah, at this point, with that just, it just made me just realize everything. It made me realize shit. And, even a day or two before, since that, poem lyric thing that I sent, I started also having these certain predictions and suspicions, but I was like, nah, and even then it'd be too late, but I was like, nah, right? I'm just being paranoid. I wasn't. So, yeah, and, yeah, and so I just completely go off on her. I fucking nuke her. Like, not only, because at this point it proves to me that I was right all along. And that she completely fucking lied to me. She just, all this time, she was just lying to me about how she felt, about everything, and just proves to me what I sort of suspected in December, but I just shrugged it off, that she just fucking very obviously used me. Because again, right after, that shit is when she just suddenly just started, like, it's as if she got what she wanted and now she was ready to fucking leave. But I guess she was feeling guilty because, again, I was saying, like, I would tell her, like, you're not doing, like, the whole thing of, like, you start responding to me less and less until you suddenly don't respond, are you? And so I guess, I'm assuming she just felt guilty about it, and she, I guess, somewhat thought that I knew that she would, I knew what moves she might be trying to make this, drift away. I guess she said she would never do that. And so this just proves to me that I was right along. She just fucking used me. And she fucking lied to me. And so I completely went off on her. I went full rage. Normally, with certain these kinds of things, it's sadness first and then rage, and or just a mix of the two equally. But this time, I was like, no, fuck this. I'm going full on rage. I'm just getting it all out. And so I told her I told her, how much of a piece of shit she is. But with that reason as to why, how she's a piece of shit, how she fucking lied to me, how she could even do all of this. Because again, she apparently wasn't ready for a relationship or anything. Then suddenly this fucking bullshit. And so, I'm completely enraged. And I'm going off on her. I'm telling her off. I'm full on honesty and truth. And yeah. And so I just went off on her, and then I, made sure that she read it. And then she did. And then I blocked her. Which at this point I'm considering unblocking her just because I don't know, just so she can see what she's done to me. But at the same time, like, it doesn't even matter. I don't know. Maybe by the time, because again, I post every Friday, so maybe by the time this is posted, I would have already unblocked her. I don't know. But yeah, so yeah, and so then I had to get out all that rage, and this is where, like I said in last week's video, how to deal with and or overcome depression. Something I talked about was, you know, whenever you're feeling certain emotions, you know, sadness or rage, it's good to get it out through music. Music is great, especially if you're able to vocalize, you know, sing along, scream along to the song. It's a great way to get out your rage and everything. And so I did that. And so, yeah, here's those clips. In case I didn't post them in the beginning, here's the clips now of what I recorded, which after I'm done recording this, I'm gonna get out some of the sadder emotions through music, and maybe I'll include those in next week's video, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so here's those clips.
You just waste of human trust, fucking everything you see. They steal from this. Suck it up, bitch, I'm gonna fucking go with you. You're fucked. Tremors falling your lips. Look at this stuff, look at this stuff. Let me lay this all to rest. You're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. You bullshit. Run your mouth and you're gonna get hit.
So yeah, fuck you, but before I, you know, get out all this triumphant feelings, I don't know if you're seeing this maybe, but I don't understand. I don't fucking get it. As much as it pisses me off, as much as it enrages me, it brings me a really deep sadness, because again, I let myself fall in love with her, thinking that again, maybe she might be different. And she wasn't. She proved to me that she really wasn't. And I don't get it. You know, she didn't have to say that she felt the same when really she didn't. And you know, I stupidly still I miss her right now, you know. You know, especially realizing and thinking how, you know, I'm not gonna have her around now for the rest of the future, you know, going on throughout this year and everything. She's not gonna be around. She's not gonna be there. Lenny, come on, get in your bed. And yeah, and it's a really weird thing to think about, because, you know, for so many months, she's the one person that I was able to and really loved talking to every single day. You know, and to the point where I would miss her then even, and especially her voice. And now I'm, you know, I don't get it. And I still again, I miss her. Stupidly, I miss her. I miss what we had and what we could have had, and I still really stupidly love her. And you know, yeah, I loved her. I love her. And she used me and lied to me and made me think that she really cared, that I mattered to her, that there could have been anything at all. Just all of it is just suddenly thrown away. I don't get it. And I love her and I miss her, and I've been so full of anxiety since yesterday, especially yesterday night. I almost couldn't sleep. I woke up this morning just full on morning anxiety, and I just feel terrible. I am doing terribly. I just don't know why this has to happen. I don't know why this had to happen. I just fucking miss her. And I love her even though I know I shouldn't. And I know it's gonna just take time for those feelings to go away, I guess. But even though I had promised myself never to love again, I fucking did. I let myself. When it all turned out to be for nothing. It all turned out to just, I wasted. Yeah. So, I guess she was right on being scared of getting with me out of fear that she might break my heart or whatever. Maybe because all this time she knew. I don't know. But yeah. Fuck, she lied to me, and there's so many things that we talked about, so many, you know, we had our own little inside jokes. You know, I miss. There's certain things I can't really think about or look at or anything now as well that I'm gonna have to get through. For example, Seinfeld. It's a good thing. I finally got to watching it all the way through last year. Throughout while we started getting to know each other and talking and everything. throughout November, December, and everything. So I've been until eventually I finally finished it. So yeah, great. I was able to finish it and everything because, but now I cannot rewatch it. Because that was her favorite show, her number one favorite show. That she was always watching that. And so, then I'd be able to recognize what episode she was watching, and we'd be able to talk about that. And then there's a lot of stuff. Her favorite color was purple. And now I just hate, I can't look at anything purple. And it really sucks. It doesn't suck. It's fucking awful. And even now, I'm even hoping that she'll, I don't know, come back, apologize. Maybe it was all some kind of a sick test, or I don't know, or a huge mistake. I don't know, but yeah. So yeah, here I am, still in love with her, missing all those moments we had, all those calls, I remember almost every call and what we did, what we talked about. There was a point where her voice got stuck in my head, her saying a certain thing, and I was really high, and I remember sitting there. And her voice just kept repeating in my head. And it was so cute. And it really made me miss her. And yeah. So I miss her. I don't know what to say. So Brooke, if you're watching this, as much as I fucking miss you, as much as I stupidly love you, and as much as it hurts me to say this because of how I feel for you, it hurts my soul to say this, but it's the truth. You're a piece of shit. You are a terrible person. You broke my heart. And I do not understand or get why. Or why you had to lie to me and say that you ever fucking loved me. Or liked me. Or anything. If this entire time was just a huge fucking con. And you just wanted to use me. And then when you did, you just wanted to disappear. And I wouldn't let you. And you felt guilty. And now, you finally revealed. And you're a piece of shit. Much as it hurts me to say, you're a piece of shit. And you're a slut. And you're everything awful. As much as I don't want it to be true, what can I do? What can I do? And The reason I pointed out the whole her being Canadian, I obviously didn't learn my lesson listening to my predictions, but I very obviously didn't learn my lesson because I learned from my last Canadian ex. So if you don't know, and a lot of you probably do or should, yeah, if you don't, I have a whole video describing my past, and this includes her. This one chick called Sarah. She was Canadian. We dated around 2016, and again, it was great. But then eventually, she turned mentally and emotionally abusive, and yeah, so terrible. And from then on, I would hate a lot of, just even thinking of Canada, and I hated that. And I clearly didn't fucking learn my lesson, obviously, because again, Brooke was Canadian. Different part of Canada. I think they were provinces right next to each other, or some shit. But yeah, they even fucking looked kind of similar. I remember it's something I brought up a little earlier on. I told her obviously about some of my exes a little bit. I wouldn't really get into them much. I told her like about Sarah, and I'd be like, I even jokingly said, I hope you don't end up being anything like Sarah, being a piece of shit. I hope you don't end up being like her. Since you're both Canadian, hope that doesn't happen. Hope you don't fuck me over or anything. And she was like, nah, hell no. I'm not a piece of shit. I'm not gonna, fuck you over or anything. I'll be a sly. But yeah, so I remember even bringing it up to her because they had kind of similar hair color. I know Sarah was blonde. Brooke, I'm pretty sure she was blonde. I don't know if she was brown or blonde, but every time I see her in pictures, it was blonde. So I'm guessing she was blonde. Obviously, same body shape, skinny-ish. Now, voice. I feel funny. I don't remember Sarah's voice much. Kind of. But I don't. How similar? I remember thinking her voice was similar to hers a little bit, but kind of. But Brooke's was definitely a much more unique voice, and even stated her voice. Perfect. She had a perfect voice to me at least. She had a perfect voice, just most angelic voice. It was an amazing voice, the most perfect voice I'd ever heard. Now, yeah, so they had a lot of similarities. And, God, I really want to make a burn, but it hurts my soul. Because I don't want to hurt her feelings stupidly, even though I know I should. Fuck it. Her face, no, it wasn't like ugly or anything. Definitely not. Obviously, she was pretty. In general, she was hot, but sure, it could have been better, right? Next to Sarah, which honestly, I mean, at this point, after my last, actual last ex from 2020, I kind of more so forgave a lot more of my exes before her, my ex-fiance and Sarah. I mean, for the things they did, to me, you can still go fucking die, but I at least forgave them enough to where I would be super down to bang them again. I fucking would. Sarah, yeah, I'd rip her guts out. My ex-fiance, yeah, I'd tear that up again. So, but Brooke, I mean, I would, but at least right now, it's also fresh. I wouldn't even touch her. But at the same time, I still love her. So at the same time, I would be stupid enough to, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's hard to try to fucking feel triumphant and make any burns because this is all just yesterday, and I'm still have these feelings for her, and so it's hard. But yeah. Fuck you, Brooke. You're a fucking piece of shit whore. God, it hurts my soul to say that. And I can't. I'm trying to feel triumphant right now, but I can't. God, why does it hurt me so much to say that to her? When I went off on her yesterday, it was all in the moment, so it all felt a lot better and more natural. But now, it just feels like I'm saying shit to hateful things to my dog or my parents or something. It feels so wrong, even though she's fucked me over, and I don't know why I feel so bad about it. Cause it's obvious, because I still fucking love her. It hurts me to think about me hurting her. God, what the fuck is wrong with me? Yeah, I think I've gotten out as much as I can. Honestly, this is not even going to be a live news episode, obviously. This is just going to be a fucking... this is going to be its own little vlog talking about this, getting all this out, because I had to, anyways. And that poem, those lyrics that I wrote for her, I don't even dare to read them. I don't even want to think of them again. It's just because of how it obviously meant nothing to her, and and it made me yesterday, especially, and still do now. It makes me literally physically sick to my stomach to have ever thought that she could have been different at all. That I really thought she could have been the one, that I really let myself fall in love with her. And I hate myself for it. I hate myself so much for it. And yeah. So this is probably the last and final time that I'll ever say this. I love you, Brooke. Even if I really fucking shouldn't. I can't stop myself. I can't just pull it out of me. It's just what I feel. And It's stupid in me. But it's just how I feel. So, if this really is how it's gonna be, and you're not gonna be in my life anymore at all, and that's it. Hope you fucking burn. Because, god damn it, you meant so much to me, and this isn't fucking fair. This is not fucking fair. You know, an obvious thing, too. You with some fucking little bitch, some fucking bitch boy. It's so retarded. Obviously, at this point, you've proven you're like every other chick, which they're all pretty shit. I'm not gonna tell you, this is experience at this point. But, and we both know this. We both know this. And many of the other chicks that are also watching this, they know this. Alright? We both know this. I'm the motherfucking best. So at the same time, it brings me joy to know that you're gonna be missing out very fucking hugely, big time. So much. There was so much more in store. And just for you. And you're never gonna find someone who will pleasure you anywhere near as much as I did, or make you come anywhere as hard as I did. So I relish in that fact. So, you know, go off with some midget dick little bitch. You and I both know that I'm the fucking best, and you fucked up on that department. Yeah, you're never gonna fucking forget this face, forget this voice, and most importantly, forget this fucking cock. So fuck you, eat my fucking shit, and yeah. And again, and as much as I acknowledge the big loss that she's having now, it's still, cause I still feel shitty, you know? I feel used, because I was used. I still can't unlove her. I still love her. I still miss her greatly. And I probably will for a while. But hopefully this can all somewhat go away with time. Hopefully sooner than later. And yeah. So I was led on. I was used. I was lied to. I was completely bullshitted. At least that's what it all seems like, putting it all together. So, and hey, if you just made a huge mistake, and you know, you'll realize that. Maybe. But honestly, I don't know. Would it be stupid of me if I did take her back? Maybe. I don't know. Again, it's not an official thing, but God, I was. But yeah, so. Yeah, I still feel what I feel, but I also hate you so much for what you've now made me have to feel and deal with as well. Fuck. I think I'm just gonna cut it here. Fuck, god damn it. Yeah. I love you, Brooke, even if I really fucking shouldn't. But if we really never talk again, just know that I'm gonna be missing you a lot throughout the year, or maybe not. And I don't know, you were at least somewhat there for me every day. And we talked, and it was great. And I miss that, and I miss you. But also, to hell with you for doing this, for putting me back in this state. Whether I've unblocked you or not, you know where to find me. When you know where to DM me, you can make another account, whatever. If anything to say, that's not just a total fuck you to me again. So, yeah. This is me venting, getting everything out, because again, here on this channel we're all about honesty and truth, and life is not always all happy and shit, so it's important to also talk about very negative and terrible things that happen to us, and to me, so you know that, you know, you're not alone if you're, you know, going through anything similar. You're really not. And so if you are going through at least something somewhat similar to this, let's all get through this together and come out better. Subscribe for all kinds of content. Yeah. So, I'm also gonna add these clips as well that you'll see after this whole part of, cause yesterday also I took out some more sadder, emotions and shit, and, yeah, just, in case you were seeing this, I want you to see what you've done to me. You've enraged me, you've fucked me over, you've made me feel like complete fucking shit. But, since, especially last night, I've been able to feel better. I've got something new to watch, and I've got a few people supporting me, and, you know, that I'm able to talk to, at least somewhat to distract myself. So, yeah. You know, with that, you know, a few other things I want to say. I feel like if I just said, I love you more, maybe it would have changed anything, but at the same time, would it have even changed anything at all? Would it even matter if, you know, she never even felt the same at any point, what, you know, even months ago or now? I mean, if it didn't matter then, it wouldn't matter now, or a few weeks ago, or a month ago. I don't know, but I can't help but think maybe if I just said it more, maybe if I said it again, it's a reminder that I do feel that way. Maybe, fuck, maybe it would have been different, or maybe it wouldn't have made a difference at all. Either way, I don't even, if she lied then, it wouldn't, would there be a point? I don't think there'd be a point, especially if there wasn't a point months ago. I don't know, but yeah, I can't help but think that, and you know, lots fucked up. I can't fucking, I can't see or, you know, listen to certain things without reminding me, like, fuck, purple is her favorite color. It's a color I do also really like, and fuck it, I can't look or see anything purple, even the word purple. Fuck, it just, fuck, it just reminds me a lot. And in this show, I think I talked about a little bit, Seinfeld. Fuck, God, I haven't said it. Even just saying these things. That was her favorite show. That's her favorite show, and you know, she'd always be watching it all the time. And I started watching it late last year, and I was able to finish it in December as well, late December. So you know, that's great, but at the same time, fuck, it's fucking ruined for me, for now at least, or maybe forever still. Every time I scroll by it on Netflix, or if I just see the title, just fuck, I hate it. It just reminds me. And there's Breathe Carolina. Fucking shit. I don't know why. It seems like every fucking time, every chick that I've known to like Breathe Carolina, that I fall in love with, that knows Breathe Carolina and or loves them, whatever. And I think it was her favorite band. Every time. One of these chicks that like Breathe Carolina, and you know, I feel, you know, we start, you know, getting somewhere, and then shit ends. He's fucking ruined it for me. With my ex-fiance, I listened to Breathe Carolina a lot while I was with her, and she did like them as well. Fuck. To this day, it's still kind of hard to listen to songs off of Hello Fascination because of my ex-fiance. Because I listen to a lot of songs more from that album. And then there was my last recent ex from 2020, who also really loved Breathe Carolina. Fuck. God damn it. And I ruined it again. Like, it keeps, like, Breathe Carolina keeps getting fucking ruined for me. It's fucking bullshit. And now her. And fuck, it's getting to the point where I'm not even sure I could ever listen to Breathe Carolina anymore. Fucking shit. Hopefully, like, God, because I remember sending her, you know, certain songs as well as messages, you know, especially Breathe Carolina. I know when she loves them. Fuck, and this was her first album, even. Fucking shit. I don't know how long it's gonna take me to be able to listen to Breathe Carolina again, but fuck, hopefully not that long. I don't know. But yeah, because I do love Breathe Carolina. Fuck. Every time I just hear and something that just sounds like Breathe Carolina, it just fucking reminds me of her. God damn it. I can't. It just, all these emotions stir up and, So yeah, Breathe Carolina's now even more ruined for me, and if not almost totally. Fuck. I don't know what to do. Fucking shit. Hopefully that doesn't last too long, I guess. But, yeah, so shit's fucking hard for me. Just doing shit, thinking of certain things, even if it's like everyday things. Fuck. But yeah, I'm sure, fuck, in due time, I'll, you know, yeah, I'll probably be able to get over it. Now, all those, the clips I recorded yesterday, you know, on the couch, that was yesterday, and, yeah, I unblocked her. I don't know. When I blocked her, it was just, you know, in my enraged state, and, who knows? You know, I don't even know if she knows I've unblocked her. If she does, maybe she doesn't, and she doesn't know what to say, or maybe she doesn't want to say anything at all, or still doesn't matter. I don't know. Something changed, but I don't know. Fuck, it's fucking confusing. And there's no way I can, like, just go in and say something. I mean, all this just went down, and I don't know. Maybe she's not going to say anything anyways. Maybe she'll apologize. I don't know. Maybe this was all a huge mistake. Or she'll, I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to keep her unblocked. But, yeah. Let's see what happens. Anyways, here's also those clips that I recorded yesterday. Again, all these more sadder, depressing emotions out. So, yeah. And, again, I don't want to say, if you like the video, because this is, I don't know. Yeah, subscribe for all kinds of content, and, yeah, hopefully I'll get better soon, and honestly I can use as much support as possible, but, fuck it, whatever. Yeah. Yeah, here's those clips.
Take me away, like I say.
is love on to me. Never let go, take me away.
You said you loved me always, but you lied. When you tried to lie, the nothing of the sun was right. That's right.
The day that I said
My heart is with you. So that you get you. So long as you
will love me at all. The leash comes down. There is no sound. It's my fault. Would you notice at all? The thought of me repulses me. But you say you took me anyway. I thought you'd be there for me. You weren't there. You weren't anywhere.
You went right to my face. You broke my fucking heart. But you tore my heart apart. And I'm nothing. No, nothing. I'm pissed. I'm shit.
I wanna hate you so bad, but I can't. So fast, any more than you can. Let's never talk. Let's never talk about this again, because I didn't want it to mean so much to me. I didn't want it to mean so much to me. I didn't want you to mean so much to me. I didn't want it to mean so much to